Hello everyone and welcome to Dalmar TV. I'm your host Sabrine Mire and today we are at the Franklin County Board of Election for a special program called Franklin County Go Vote, an initiative by Dalmar TV to help educate our communities in Franklin County. And I have a special guest with me. Please help me welcome Aaron Seller. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks.
And then through this program, we aim to educate our communities and help them be aware of specific dates and answer any questions so we can get them to vote. So Aaron, what I'll do is ask you a few questions and then let's get started. Okay. What is the role of Franklin County Board of Election and how does it ensure fair and secure election for everyone in our communities?
So the Franklin County Board of Elections is one of 87 other boards across the state of Ohio. Its main function, it's a statute, and our function is to run open, free, and fair elections. So that is the main focus of what we do here at the board.
Thank you. And then what are the requirements for someone to vote here in Franklin County?
Yeah, so to be a registered voter, you have to be an American citizen. You have to be over 18 years of age. You can't be convicted of a felony. Those are some of the main things that you have to be a registered voter, and not only here but in Franklin County.
Thank you so much. And in wuxuu sheegay sida Franklin County sida u vote garaysid waxa u baahan tahay inaad noqotid US citizen sharciga Mareykanka inaad haysatid inaad felony iyo maxkamadda felony aad ku jirinin 18 sano inaad jirtid. So ma sha Allah su'aaladu ay weydiiyana kuwa muhiimka ah Soomaalina waa nigu turjumiyaa biidnillah. And then my other question, what identification do voters need to bring on the day of election?
Yeah, so that law has changed over the years. We've had a couple of election cycles with the new ID requirements. The main thing is you have to have a state ID, Ohio state ID, driver's license or state ID. You can now use a passport. Military IDs can be used as well. Those are the main IDs that you would need to have to be able to cast a ballot.
Thank you. And sidoo sheegay hadaarta inaad ka qayb gashay voting in Franklin County waxa u baahan tahay ID-gaaga US ID, federal ID, and then wuxuu dhahaa hadda passport waa la accept gareeya. So as long as sharci muhiim ah ay leedahay oo sawirka ku sawiran intaas ba isticmaali kartaa sida u vote garaysid. Okay. And then many of our viewers are from minority and immigrant communities. What message would you like to share with them about the importance of registering and participating in voting? Yeah,
what I would tell voters in whatever minority community they are here in Franklin County, it's important, and I would say this to anybody, that it is important to register here in Franklin County so that you have the ability to vote. The voting is what makes this country what it is, and it makes the republic as successful as it has been, as people cast their ballots, and that's how governments are formed. It's the will of the people, and it's vital in continuing to have the country that we have.
sidoo sheegay muhiim waayuu dhahay inaad vote garaysid hadaa ay citizen tahay oo Mareykanka joogtid xaquuqdaada waaye to exercise your right to vote. So inshallah hadaa Mareykanka joogtid exercise your right inshallah. And then my other question, what are the different ways people can vote in Franklin County?
So there's many different ways that you can vote here in Franklin County, and again what we do in Franklin County is what's done across the state. So it's not just us here in the county, but for any viewers that are outside of Franklin County. You can vote absentee, where you send in an absentee ballot request. You fill that out, you send it in to us, we verify who you are, that you are a registered voter, and once that's been determined, then we would mail you out a ballot. Those ballots would go out on the first day of early voting, which for this cycle would be April 7th. You can also, and then obviously you would fill your ballot out and return it to us. One of the things that's new this year than past years is there's no 4-day period for us to receive that ballot after election day. We need that by 7:30 on election night. So what I would simply tell voters is they need, if they're going to vote absentee by mail, they need to get those ballots to us back faster than, they don't have that 4-day window. after Election Day. So that's a very important thing that we are trying to message to not only minority communities, but all communities in Franklin County. Another way that a voter could vote is to come to the Early Vote Center, which will be here at our location at 1700 Morse Road. We start on April 7th, and we'll be voting here up through the Sunday before Election Day. You can get those hours on our website, but I think the first 3 weeks of early voting are 8 to 5. And then as we get closer to the primary election, those ramp up. We've got one weekend of voting, the weekend prior to Election Day. There are, I believe, hundreds of hours to vote here at the Early Vote Center. And then the final way you could cast your ballot is on Election Day. Here in Franklin County, we're going to have 298 locations. A voter would go to their assigned polling location on Election Day to cast their ballot. So as I tell folks, there's no reason to not cast a ballot. You can either vote in the privacy of your own home, you can come here 28 days prior to the election and cast a ballot, or you can go to your polling location on Election Day.
And then I'll try to summarize that in Somali. Wuxuu dhahay qaababyaha jira lagu vote gareeyo waxay tahay early ballot waraaqad baa u soo diraysa sida gurigaaga adoo joogtay u vote gareysid markaas waa soo diraysa boosada ku dare way xisaabinayaan. The second way aad ku vote gareyn kartid is inaad timaadid early voting. Hadda wuxuu sheegay April 7 in la bilaabayo votingka April 7 ilaa the day of election waxay furan yihiin 8 a.m. ilaa 4 p.m. laakiin naga hubso oo Franklin County website ka gal oo waqtiyaasha ay furan yihiin sidaas u hubso. That's the second option. The third option aad ku vote gareyn kartid waxay tahay ina weekend sabti ahad oo jirto dadka ay action yimaadaan votingka. So a lot of ways baa haysataa aad ku vote gareysid, just sabab dhan ma jirto dhahay dadka u vote gareynin. So please exercise your right to vote this election.
I don't speak Somali, but I heard you say 4. 8 to 5.
8 to 5.
8 to 5.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Sidoo sheegay 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And then always website ka Franklin County. And can you tell us the website they can go to?
Yeah, voters registered.
Franklin County, Ohio.
Yeah, registered voters can reach us not only by calling us at 614-525-3100. They can reach us online on our website, which is vote.franklincountyohio.gov. So vote.franklincountyohio.gov, all spelled out.
Thank you. And website ka iyo telephone number ka wuu soo sheegay aan kala xiriiri kartid Franklin County sida u vote gareysid inshallah. So this season please do exercise your rights.
What I would say is if there's anybody that's out there that is a citizen that is not registered to vote, they have until April 6th of this primary season to register to vote so that they can participate in the May 5th primary. If they're new to Ohio, if they've changed their name, if they've moved, April 6th is an important date. Even if they are registered, they need to update some of that new information to us as to if they've moved, because voters vote where voters live. Because it's vital that we have them at their current address, because literally you could live in a part of town where across the street might be a different district. It could be a different Senate district. It could be a different city. So it's important to vote where you live. So that's why April 6th is an important date to make sure. If for some reason somebody didn't do that and they were registered, they would still be able to vote, but they would have to go to their correct voting location, their new one, if they did change their name, or I'm sorry, if they moved, and they would have to vote a provisional ballot, which those ballots are counted, but those, there's a process to make sure that they are who they said they were, and to make sure that that they were in the right location.
Siduu sheegay waxaa hubsataan inaad register gareysan tahay to vote. Haddaadan register gareysnayn is register gare. Primary and election can add muhiim u yahay the Republican ka iyo Democrats kaba. So inshallah vote gare sida u exercise gareysid rightsigaaga, and then isbedel weyn buu voting kan sameynaya. So inshallah vote. And then what was early voting? When did it start?
Early voting starts April 7th.
April
So not only here, but across the state, that's the first day of early voting, is April 7th. And we're open from 8 to 5 for the first, I think, 3 weeks of early voting. And then those hours ramp up. But that's the first day of early voting, April 7th.
Thank you. Siduu sheegay April 7 buu early voting bilaabanaya ilaa way sii soconaysaan the first few weeks. So insha Allah exercise your right haddaa Maraykan tahay oo citizen tahay xaq baa u leedahay inaad vote garaysid oo sheegatid choices yaashaada. So we recommend inaad vote garaysid. Thank you so much. And then thank you so much for joining us and giving us the opportunity to vote. And then, can you tell us more about the machines behind us?
Yeah, so these are machines that a voter would see on election day, whether it be here at the Early Vote Center or at their polling location on election day. And these are our express vote machines. This one's in a kiosk that is handicap accessible. We can lower it. All of the machines have I think they call them a sip cup. You can braille. So folks that have some reason that they wouldn't be able to vote a regular ballot, they can still vote on the machine. They're ADA compliant. And then the machine on the corner is where you would deposit your ballot. These are machines that are basically creating, what's the right word?
The ballot.
You're not casting your ballot on this machine, you're marking your ballot. And then you would get the ballot after you approve it, and then you would take it to that machine and cast the ballot.
Thank you. This reminds me of school. That's how we did it.
Right.
Okay. As you heard it, waa maqasheen sida mashiinada xataa sida loo isticmaalo buu noo sheegay. So sabab aad u vote garaynin ma lihdin. So this season, inshallah, vote garaya. Thank you for joining us and for sharing this important information. We encourage everyone in our communities to take part of the democratic process by registering and voting and making sure their voices are heard. For more information about voter registration, voter location, and important election dates, please visit Franklin County Board of Election. This has been Sabrin with Dalmar TV for our voter education program with Franklin County Board of Election. MashaAllah, haddana interview way noo sii socota. Waxaa ila joogta Jada Campbell oo ka shaqaysa community affairs. And so ayada su'aalana nooga jawaabaysa. Welcome, Jada.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
You're
Hi
welcome.
guys.
Could you tell us more about the community affairs, your position, what do you do?
Yes, so I currently do all the outreach for the Franklin County Board of Elections. So essentially, my job is to get out the message to all different communities of what the Franklin County Board of Elections does, what our role is, that we have safe, secure, accessible elections, and kind of what we do here, what our process is. And we want everyone to get out and register to vote and participate in the election process, no matter which community you're in.
MashaAllah, sidii sheegtay waxay ku dadaashaa community waxay ka shaqaysaa sidii dadka u barto hala vote gareeyo oo u ogeysiiso xaquuqda votingka ay leeyihiin. So could you tell us about precincts? How do communities find out where their precinct is?
Yeah, exactly. So you can find out either on our website, you can go to vote.franklincountyohio.gov and you can click on search voter location, or you can go on the Secretary of State's website, the Ohio Secretary of State's website. And so either one, you could go on there, check, put in your address, put in your name, your information, and see exactly which precinct location you're assigned to.
Perfect. Thank you. Waxay tiri website-ka aada labada location gala waxaa ogaan kartiin meesha addresskiina uu ku saabsan yahay aad ku vote garaysid. So election day haddaa vote garaynaysid iyo early voting haddaa rabtiin inaad vote garaysidna waa xaggan. So for communities to participate in the early voting, would they just come to the main location, this one?
Yes, to do early voting, you could attend here at the Franklin County Board of Elections. There are other minor locations like government agencies that you can go to, you know, the BMV, things like that, libraries, but I really recommend coming here to the Early Vote Center at 1700 Morse Road. That's where primarily you can get registered to vote, or you can do it online at the websites mentioned previously.
MashaAllah, intaasoo meelood baa ka vote garayn kartiin. So muhiim waaye inaa codaysiin, especially seasonkan aad buu noogu muhiim yahay. And as far as election and how do one register? What are the requirements to register?
Yes. So in order to be a registered voter here in Franklin County, one, you must be a citizen of the United States. 2, you have to be 18 on or before the next general election that you're going to vote in. 3, you have to be a resident of Ohio for at least 30 days before the election that you want to vote in. 4, you cannot be currently incarcerated and have a felony. However, if you have served your time, there's still a possibility that you can vote. Okay, so that's the difference between one. If you're currently in jail and you have a felony, you can't. However, if you have already served your time, you can still re-register to vote. 5, you can't be declared incompetent by a probate judge for whatever reason that they might have thought that you were declared incompetent. And then 6, you cannot have been permanently disenfranchised or you violated any election laws, right? So it kind of like goes with 5 and 6.
So waxay tiri registrationka waxa waaye inaa US citizen tahay 18 sano inaad jirtid waqtiga la vote garanayo inaa 30 maalmood ee Franklin County deganayso 30 days Franklin County inaad deganeed. Basically if you had a felony hadaa lahayd timekaaga markaad serve garaysay maxkamadii lagu soo xiray lagu soo sii daayay is register gare markaas waa vote garayn kartaa laakiin muhiimadda waxa waa adigoo xiran ma vote garayn kartid. Also maxkamadda waxay tiri qofku haduu waalan yahay ma vote garayn karo mise maxkamadda probate ka maxkamadda hadii cadeyso qofkaas uu waalan yahay qofkaas ma vote garayn karo iyo midka lixaad waxay ahayd hadaa qalad geysatay votingka markii la vote garaynayay hadaa tuuganimo iyo wax lagu qabtay qalada oo raali laga ahayn waxay ku disqualify garaynaysaa inaad vote garaysid from now on. So lixdaas hadaa kasoo bixi kartid waa register garayn kartaa insha Allah. That was it. I appreciate it, Jada.
No problem. I just want to add, because a lot of people feel that they can't come out and vote or that their vote doesn't matter. But the thing with this is, if so many people say it, if you have 1 million people saying the same thing and now you have 1 million people who are not going out to vote, of course it seems like it won't matter, right? Because so many people are saying it all at once. However, if you don't like the way things are, or if you do like the way things are, this is why you should participate and come out and vote. If you want to make any change, you have to get involved in the election process itself and not stand by the sidelines. This is how progress and change is made throughout generations and generations. So,
thank you.
You're welcome.
I could not have put it any better. So, jecleen siduu wadanka u shaqeynayo dadka dawladda ka shaqeynaya waa waqtigii la bedeli lahaa iyo hadaa jeceshahayna waa waqtigii aad deysan lahayd. So insha Allah sanadkan vote gareeya. Thank you, Jada.
Thank you.
And sida waqtigiin waa meeshan waa Dalmar TV soo dhawaada.